Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus, guys, giving you more of the meta. Once again, I'm going to be rolling with the Chicago Bears offense. Ran into a guy that ran a lot of zero blitzes, and I got this guy to rage quit because he was struggling against my defense, and that's in a previous video that I posted. But I want to show you what I do on offense with Chicago Bears. I'm using a lot of 12 personnel. Under center, two tight ends, two wide receivers, and one running back, because I want to try to establish the run. But because this guy was running so much zero, basically all of his defenders are in run fits. They're going to commit to the run, and it's one of those situations where you have to try to blend in other different types of things to try to get him out of that defense if it's affecting your run. There are some particular plays that you can run against zero blitzers, but he actually had fairly good user against me in that type of situation. You'll see on how his user on the first play of the game kind of like changed up my mentality. Right here, you can see these guys are lined up straight over my defender, so that's usually key that you're running against someone that's using man coverage for the most part. I try to flip the play because I know this guy's going to reach, he's going to block, and the one person that's not going to be unblocked is going to be this middle linebacker over the middle. So what I do is I flip it to the weak side, and look, he comes out. He gets a nice little edge defender that gets off the edge, but basically he delayed me because he went out wide, and I really had nowhere to go with it with the run. So that pretty much forced me out of my offense for the most part. Now I want to show you a key indicator. So if you take a look, these guys are lined up perfectly straight on, but look at this defender right here. This defender right here is just shaded slightly on the inside. That's usually an indication of the person's playing some type of a cover 4 coverage when you see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit this guy with a cover 4 beater, which essentially is going to be 4 verticals. My preference is to try to layer in some route concepts to make sure that I have a different check down if for some particular reason he disguises coverage. But my key is to watch this defender, and if this defender kind of floats or follows the drag, I know I'm going to be able to hit this because it's one-on-one coverage. Because a cover 4 shell, this guy has to defend the deep lane right there, so he is going to give up anything that's going to be underneath. He's not going to come down and play it if it's a true cover 4. So kind of get a feel for that. You could see that the one defender actually carries. I've got like a little wheel route right here, but the other defender carries, and essentially I'm going to go ahead and hit this deep comeback route. The ball is already out right now. A comeback comes over there. I'm able to go ahead and break a couple tackles, but still get tackled for a 17-yard gainer, and he was in a cover 4 quarter shell. So now he's got kind of outside shade leverage. This is more like a cover 2 in that type of situation because he's got outside shade. And I go into one of my favorite plays. Now he readjusts his defenders, and this is a play that I love to use in my scheme. I'm going to look to this guy first. I've got a little drag route that's going to be underneath this post route, that's my second route, and then I've got this inside whip, which is going to essentially be my third read that I'm going to go to. And all I'm really doing is looking for any kind of support by this guy floating up. If he actually comes in, which he does, this little curl route should get inside leverage, and I should be able to hit this for an easy completion. You can see I kind of floated off a little bit, broke a tackle, almost took that house in that type of situation, but I actually have a really good play right there. So back to the same formation right now. Now he switches into cover 3 shell because you can see this guy sliding over. These guys are kind of a little bit outside of the outside. That means it's cover 3. And let's see what I do with my offense. I go into smash, and this is a good play if I see that single high safety, that closed defensive look. And this is very simple. Typically what I like to do is I like to put this guy in a table route, but the mechanics just change up a little bit, and I still have some old school mechanics. But all I'm doing is looking at this defender right here, and if this guy shoots out, basically I'm going to go ahead and look to this route and then look onto this side of the field for what's open. But if this guy kind of stays manned up and jams, this route is always going to get separation because he's a deep third. He's got a deep third responsibility, and he's going to give anything up underneath, but he doesn't want to give up anything, basically for big plays. So you can see right here, I pick up a good 8 yards on that particular play, just going back to it, and it was a cover 3 sky. So you've got basically an open look right here. Guys are kind of lined up underneath. I try to go ahead and jump into a duo play. I don't like that. I want to go ahead and do another play, and I got myself caught I realized that I don't have my audibles set up. For some particular reason, my audibles that are not carrying over. This play is not the play that I want in the scheme. It's something I draw from my scheme. So I try to do a third audible, and what happens is I get a delay of game. You know, basically, guys, so I'm right here. I'm just trying to set my audibles up correctly. I like to have duo in the scheme. I might actually pull it out, but it's, for me, it's about having that halfback dive. It's nice to have that. It's a good play to go and throw in when I'm using this wide zone stretch. So we're going to go ahead and jump back in the wide zone. Now it's a 2nd and 7. It just kind of changes everything around as far as the sticks are concerned. But I'm going to go back to this doubles out just because it's such an effective play. And you'll see he actually he bites and then it kind of stops. But I know he can't get in position. Most players, users, are just not really that good in the game. I'm able to go and get another easy completion with that. So now he's going to be really focusing. He's going to be focusing on this isolation guy over here, and that will open up all the other stuff on the backside based on hitting that curl like 3 times against him. So right here, I think I jump into spacing, do the curl once again, different type of a look against this guy, and I think I might have checked out of this and went into the halfback zone. And I'm expecting one of my defenders to actually come up and block this guy, but that does not happen. I don't get any blocking, and the guy just shoots in. I'm able to cut it back and pick up 3 yards out of a play that basically probably would have been for a no-gainer, just because I saw that he had a free release into me. So now he goes back into basically this particular play right here, which essentially is, you know, the coverage. And in this type of situation, he actually switches up his defense again. I streak this guy up because if nobody floats and covers it, I'm going to hit this. But I've got this you know, mesh concept going on underneath, and I just want to go ahead and hit this stuff underneath right here. You could see that this guy's actually kind of open. I probably should have stayed with this progression because he's actually using over here. But I got a guy that actually gets past my line of scrimmage and tackles me basically for a loss. So I'm in a 3rd down situation. I go into a trips formation, and I'm actually looking to go ahead and hit this guy isolated in the backside because he's lined up correctly. But look, he makes a quick adjustment. He jumps into, I'm trying to make an adjustment right here, jumps and presses his guys. Now, I don't like throwing an out on a press coverage because basically the press will hit me. It's going to throw off my timing. I like doing that when I got off coverage. So I decided to jump into a different play, and he's been running so much man blitzes against me. I decided to go and jump into this play, which essentially is an RPO with the tight end. What's going to happen is this guy will probably come down and have to play the run, and then these guys are going to go up and block, leaving this position wide open. And all I'm really doing is trying to pick up a 1st down, but you'll see that this play actually turns out to be a lot better. He gets himself out of position. I'm able to go and get the ball in the end zone on an RPO play. So just working everything underneath, 10 yards. I'm not trying to stretch the ball deep against my opponent. I'm just taking whatever I can. So scores tied 7-7. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this guy with one of my favorite plays, which essentially is a streak. I got a smash concept over here with a fade concept. But really, when I use this play, I'm always focusing on this side of the field. And what I'm doing is my key defender I'm reading right now is that defender because there's no safety support on this side. So what I do is I look to this guy. And if this guy slides out, supports this hook, basically I hit the running back. If he actually stays in and plays a running back, then I'm going to go ahead and look to this guy, this little curl route. Very, very simple. Using the backside of this formation. And right here you can see the running back is open. He doesn't know. He's got to kind of play this streak over here, but the running back is open and actually get a nice little release and get the ball down close to midfield. No huddle in this type of situation, and I figured I'd hit this guy with verticals because he's got a single high safety. He switches his safeties. He quickly snaps it real quick, and I've got the little crosser, and I do an in route, basically an out route or in route with the running back, and just check it down. And right here, the defender actually comes down and bites on this, and this is where you get those, you know, beautiful like EA animations. You get a broken tackle, it's swift, and actually get the ball past the half your half field marker. So right here, I go ahead and jump into this particular play, which essentially is outs. Now, I probably should have checked out of this, because if you take a look at this guy right here, I'm trying to work the sideline to try to keep the ball going, but this guy's slightly shaded to the outside, and he's actually at 5 yards depth. So this means he's playing a cloud depth, and he's probably going to play over half type situation. So he's playing. This guy jumped into cover 2 in this type of situation. So basically, I should probably be switching things up. But you could see this guy's playing a cloud flat, but I've got a streak, I've got a deep post that's going over the middle, and I've got this little route underneath. So I'm just going to go and check it down to the underneath route, because everything else is getting pushed up. Break a tackle right here with Rome, get the ball down, and I get an untimely interception, or actually a fumble, after I get a first down against this guy. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a bad situation, because this guy is not only getting the ball in the second half, he's also got an opportunity to score and milk the clock against me. And he actually played pretty good football in the first series. But fortunately for me, I actually sacked this guy a couple times and get the ball down in the end zone. I got him in a 4th and 22. He just started melting down after I got some pressure against him and sacked him. So I get the ball down down the end zone. And my goal is to not give this guy any kind of opportunities against me. So I'm going to try to chew this clock down as much as possible, especially since it's a 1st and goal. So I've got all my timeouts. I've got the luxury of basically chewing this clock down, where he actually can't have any opportunities whatsoever. So I jump into basically the 0-1 trap. The reason I do 0-1 trap is that this center is unblocked. And a lot of what happens is that these guys will go up. I'm going to have a block. I'm going to get depth with my blocking with the 0-1 trap, and I can actually pick up a good chunk of change with this particular play right here. So you can see right here, I go ahead, run the ball, get the ball down to the 3-yard line, pick up a good chunk of change. Now I go ahead and not take any timeout. I'm actually looking at the timeout, or looking to take a timeout, but I want to chew that clock down right here in this type of situation. I want to give myself maybe two plays. I can run the ball, I can pass the ball, because I've got my timeouts, but I do not want to give this guy the ball back, especially since I'm up by basically 2 possessions. Actually, previously I got an interception and returned it for a touchdown, so that's why I'm up by a score against this guy. So go with the wide zone off to the right side. Over here on the right side, you can see that he's kind of making adjustments, and yeah, his user basically cleaned me up. Once again, his middle linebacker played really good football. He actually tackles me right there. I take another timeout, and it's basically third and goal situation. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot in the end zone. If not, I'm going to settle for the 3 points, because it's all about going up possessions. So here's a play that I like to go ahead and use in this type of situation, and it is a play that is this play right here, which is the quick fork zig. What the key is to this particular play right here is this little delayed route right here, and this is my read. One thing I discovered is the stock quick outs gets jumbled up in the route, and what I've discovered is if you readjust this just to a regular corner route, you'll be able to get past these 2 wide receivers, and there's a little bit cleaner release. So that's a little tip that I figured out when I started labbing this play. But my key, when I go ahead and see, you can see the depth of this corner route is a little bit further out. My key is to watch this defender. Now, if this defender floats up, I'm going to look for this route underneath. If the defender locks up with this guy, I'm going to look for this corner route, because he's going to get leverage outside of this defender right here. There's not going to be anybody that's going to play that. So watch what happens with the play. Defender does not float. He comes down and mans. This guy's manned up, so he has to go ahead and cross over with that little underneath route. And right here, I'm able to go and hit that corner route for an easy completion for a touchdown. Now, I actually ended up getting a defensive stop in the next series. The guy ends up quitting out against me because I just kept on sacking him, and he was getting himself in 3rd and long. So ended up getting a victory. So once again, guys, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And let me know where you guys live at. I'm just curious what parts of the United States you guys are living at, and if you're outside of the United States and watch these videos. So thank you for your support. Until next time.